welcome to another episode of playonultra podcast. This is episode 180.
80?
Yes.
Just 180.
Yeah. 180. Ooh. How is everybody? My fingers hurt a lot because yesterday I spent 3 hours to transform my most expensive figure, and they just fucking hurt.
Wait. One so you have your Transformer figure, and you're like, I really want this robot to be a jet plane, and it took you 3 hours to make that happen.
To be fair, he's a triple changer, so it took me 3 hours to change him to 2 modes. So about 1.5 hours.
Aren't these toys usually for younger kids to be able to manipulate?
No.
These
are not a model. It's a toy.
Eights.
But this is one of those hobbyists ain't for kids. I don't know what kind of parent will buy this for kids because it's really expensive.
Does it take that long because it's just stiff, or just because it's complicated and you don't know what to do?
There are some complications. There are some things where you need such minuscule movements, so that everything is flush.
Lines up, yeah, that makes sense.
I see. Just no
good.
I
had to sit at my desk. It was like work. I had to sit at my desk with a YouTube video open.
Workman gloves.
Yeah, I have no idea how these reviewers do it. Seriously, they just transform these guys.
Rock climbing calluses.
Maybe.
Fucking
hurt.
Or not rock climbing, like a guitarist.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
they got the calluses and stuff, and yeah.
He is beautiful though. He is a steam train.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing. That is great.
That is quality artwork right there. Damn. Okay.
Colors are amazing.
Jet train. I love that.
And I handled him so rough and no paint chipped at all.
Fingers hurts the handler rough.
What's that Transformer name?
Astro Train. He transformed into a shuttle and
about that.
Steam train.
Right.
I see.
Really
That's
beautiful.
a bit of a cop out to me. A space shuttle and a train already look pretty similar.
So how they do it is
there's a train, there's some wings pop out, now it's a shuttle. You're like, I did it.
Don't
no.
vehicles look kind of the same?
He kind of turns around and there's a thing to it.
Got it. It's all involved thing. Got it.
It's pretty
super involved, super complex, super up there. That's
took
great.
Me 3 hours, yeah. So,
are you ever gonna?
My fingers still hurt.
It's a train now. He's staying a train, okay?
I don't. So shuttle mode was the worst. So for me, he's just train and robot. He's not shuttle guy.
Can you go from one form to either of the two, or is it a specific order? Okay.
No, you can.
That's pretty cool.
Of transformations, not just a line of. I got it.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
It is
pretty complex. Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's the other thing, because each mode looks like what it's supposed to without a lot of extra stuff hanging out from the other modes. So that's why there's a lot of to get that kind of simplicity or cleanness, you gotta make it a little bit more complex. Everything's gotta fall into each other and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really heavy though, and he's also really heavy. Lots of metal in there, I think. So yeah.
It's metal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I've had other Transformers, but he's the highlight because he's my most expensive figure in the collection. I've been playing New Vegas. I'm not sure if I mentioned this.
I don't know if you have.
I know you mentioned it, maybe not in the podcast, but I knew you were playing it.
I think I'm 50 hours in. It's good. It's I'm enjoying it way more than Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk I stopped at 23, and New Vegas I'm at the point where I just want to finish it. Because there's a perk that I just got a few hours before this, where it unlocks. It shows all the the point of interest on the map. Oh my god, there's so many. The map is quite small, and everything is just condensed. Everything is just packed. There's a lot of shit on the map. But yeah, it's really good. I only modded it a bit. I just modded it so that it doesn't crash and those kind of shit. But I never really modded it with any crazy graphic mod or anything. But I've seen videos, and people have made the game really beautiful looking. And a new mod for Fallout New Vegas is coming out, and it's the biggest Fallout mod ever, apparently. It is... I'm not sure if it's a total conversion mod. I'm not really sure how you define a total conversion mod, but it creates an entirely new map for you to play in. Like 35 or 50 hours or something of story and quests to do, which is insane. Weapons, blah, blah, blah. But the most insane thing they did, drivable vehicles that actually feel good. That's insane. Considering New Vegas is like the buggiest and jankiest one out of all of them. And even Bethesda couldn't do vehicles in like Fallout 4. So yeah, if you're a New Vegas fan, look it up. Look out for Fallout: The Frontier. And it's pretty cool that the mod quests can like continue right after the main quest, the main game's quest, which is they really put a lot of thought into this.
Like it.
It seems like fans historically put in more thought.
No, apparently it's bigger than New Vegas and the DLCs combined.
I blame the publishing companies more.
That's fair.
Yeah, Bethesda told Obsidian, you have 18 months to finish this giant open world RPG. Like, okay.
Poor, poor Obsidian.
Yeah. Other than that, I haven't really been doing much. Played Division 2 before, every week here and there. That's pretty much it. I haven't watched... I watched Wonder Woman. Watched Wonder Woman as well.
Yes, I did as well.
Sarah, you watched, I think, the earliest out of all was...
Yeah, I did. I watched it when it came out, so...
And Fo mentioned, I think we were playing Division 2 or something one day, and Fo mentioned, like, you can't do the same thing twice. You can't kill off the pilot 2 times.
I know.
Exactly the same thing I just realized after he said that.
Same weight.
I liked Wonder Woman. I totally understood, like, the criticisms I totally get. But I think the thing is that it's nice to just see another, like, female action movie.
I don't know how strongly I stand by this, but I kind of feel like if there hadn't been a first Wonder Woman, if this had been the first Wonder Woman, I would like it. It'd be better. It'd be a good movie. Because, like, I mean, it wouldn't be a good movie. It still have a lot of flaws, but, like,
right.
A lot of the problems I have are just how similar it is to the previous Wonder Woman, and I think it would get fixed a lot if it's like this is new stuff. I mean, it'd be hard to do, but
yeah, I could see that. It is sad though that it's still better than most of the DC movies. I think that's the saddest part.
I still haven't seen them, but I believe you.
I just mean
I haven't watched like Justice League
and
like
Man of Steel.
Oh, that's right. You guys haven't seen Justice League. It's better than Justice League.
Yeah.
Justice League is at least watchable, though. It's not like Batman versus Superman. That movie is unwatchable. It's so bad.
I watched that one.
Is Batman versus Superman worse than Suicide Squad?
Oh, no. That's hard.
Suicide Squad is the worst.
You know, it depends. It's hard. Like,
it really?
It kind of...
To me, Suicide Squad was the worst thing I've ever watched in the past 10 years.
They're both really bad.
They're both really
bad in different ways.
Okay.
I think I at least chuckled a couple more times in Suicide Squad. That might be why. But they're both awful, like, unwatchable movies.
If you want to have an awful movie marathon, go with DC. They're really good at it.
Yeah, they really are.
Just marathon DC movies.
Yeah. Aquaman at least is, like, watchable, I will say.
Oh, I haven't watched that one.
That one's pretty decent.
Aquaman's not bad. It's that
funny,
one
right?
I was... Yeah, it's funnier. It's like a bad Thor movie.
They were trying to go with a bit more funny, like the Marvel.
Yeah, they were kind of trying to go for like Thor. The Thor movies besides Ragnarok are kind of anyway.
Does anybody feel this way as well? Because the writing is not so great. The characters, the voice, whatever. But the CG is kind of weird in DC movies, right?
It really is.
Is it just me? It's not just me, right?
It's not just you. I think what you're also pointing at, and this has been documented as a huge problem, DC movies versus Marvel movies, they desaturate and put like a weird film filter on their movies, so everything looks really gray and dreary and almost
not
sepia
just that. You know the parts where like, if Spider-Man needs to punch Ant-Man or whatever, those are CG characters, right? Like, or Iron Man and War Machine in the air flying. Those are CG characters, but they look really like real and well done. But
Yeah,
in like
good.
even in the latest Wonder Woman movie, which is the newest one, so I would have to assume they have the best
Yes.
technology, whatever.
Sure.
Yes.
When Wonder Woman were doing superhuman stuff, it was CG, and it looked just the animation just looked so janky.
It did look a little
looking.
weird when she was like
I don't get
fighting
it.
Cheetah. I remember when she was
the
fighting
worst.
Cheetah in the White House or wherever they were at. That scene looked weird to me. Something was wrong in how she was being
A
flung
lot
around.
of
It
the
looked off.
the CG animation,
Yes.
like the way they move, just looks weird,
Yeah,
and I don't
does.
understand why. Is it just a
you're
budget
right.
thing?
I don't know, but it is
I mean,
weird.
I would have
You're
to
right.
assume Marvel has more budget than DC at this point.
At least the
I would agree
movie
with that.
section.
The movie section, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's just a budget thing or
yeah. Because it comes to DC
I don't want to say a
animation.
talent thing because I don't think it's a talent thing. I'm not really sure. I don't really know who DC contracts or if it's an in-house thing or
Yeah, I don't know.
because a lot of people work on these kind of movies,
yeah.
and I'm sure
I
they
gotta
have
be
both
careful.
in-house and
Yeah.
contract.
I gotta be careful what I say. I had a bunch of Snyder fanboys attack me on Twitter a couple weeks ago, so I gotta be careful.
That just means that just means you've made it. I guess I don't know.
I guess so. It was really, really dumb. So I have to explain what happened. So what happened was there's a friend of my wife's who works for the show that she does was posting something about was reposting the latest trailer for the remaster of Justice League or whatever.
Is that actually a real
Snyder
thing
cut.
that's coming out?
Snyder cut.
Yes,
Okay.
it's real. It's very real. And he was so this guy, I know him. He's just reposting it. And I listened to, and he made a joke that was like, I feel like the movie is just gonna be with another what do you call it, like remix of Hallelujah. You know that song? Hallelujah. Okay, so I made a joke of like, oh, I get that reference, but the reason I was making that joke is because that song's in Watchmen. And another Zack Snyder film. I was then told by my wife that the main joke is that they used that song in the latest trailer for Justice League. And so I was like, oh. And so literally my tweet said, and I just wasn't thinking, I was just like, oh, that's weird. I wonder what Zack Snyder's obsession with Hallelujah is. Just a throwaway tweet. I got attacked. I got retweeted, told I was obsessed with Zack Snyder. Like, being basically made fun of. They're like, Jack, you're so obsessed with Zack Snyder. And I was like, what? At first I was like, I don't watch all of his movies. But then someone then, like, took me to town and explained, like, and I do feel kind of bad, but not really. Basically, you know how Zack Snyder's daughter passed away? And that's why he couldn't work on
I didn't know
one of the
this.
movies.
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't know
okay.
that.
So the Justice League movie had a lot of craziness, and I don't know if you guys knew, but Joss Whedon took over on it.
Yeah,
Because
that one I
Zack
heard.
Snyder, Zack Snyder's daughter, I think she committed suicide, but she passed away. That's all that matters. She passed away, and that's why he couldn't like focus on the film, and so Joss Whedon took over, and it was a bit of a mess. And so apparently that song is very significant to him and his family. And so that's why he uses it a lot. So yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. It's just one of those moments where I was like, I feel a little bad, but also like,
He does
yikes,
use
people.
An excessive amount.
Yeah, like, all right, you guys are really upset. Like, I don't know. And at the same time, I almost want to be like, okay, but that's a weird song to, I don't know. To me, that's kind of a weird song choice to, like, have significance with because of what the lyrics are.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's not my
Yeah.
it's not my business, not my family. So, yeah, I got to taste the Snyder fans and, whew, okay.
That's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, like, huge enough, but I did get a couple, like, random people retweeting me and making fun of me. And it was like, okay, this is kind of strange.
The guy who played Cyborg, he's been talking about how
one?
shitty
Oh, in Justice League. Okay.
Justice League. yeah.
Yes.
He's
Yes,
been
he
talking about how
has.
shitty Joss Whedon is, right? And
Yes.
I think the latest news is
Yeah.
he's
This was
gonna
not
be
too
cut
long
out of the Snyder Cut or something.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
I think
That's
I think I saw like really new
That-
like yesterday night before I went to sleep
That
or something.
can't be accurate. They'd have to reshoot the whole film. It would not make sense.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
I was
do
thinking
that.
because he is pretty important to the
he's
plot.
integral to the plot. He's integral to that can't be real. He had those not claims. I think they're true. I believe him. But like those things he said, that was stuff he had said some time ago. I think they're just resurfacing because the film's getting remastered by by Snyder. So that would be, I'd be so surprised if they tried to write him out of the film, because there's just no way. That'd be like trying to write Superman out of the film. It's weird. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to see what people think of the recut of Justice League.
The one thing is, the Snyder Cut is getting a lot of like news every week, every month. And I haven't been seeing it because I think I'm following the right people on Twitter. I think that's like a good way to measure shit.
That's fair. Yeah, I only know of it when literally my wife's place like retweets about it. And it's pretty rare because they're all making fun of it. So that's the only reason I know anything. Thank goodness. Because no thank you.
So, just like, so does the Snyder, does he have like a lot of like cut footage that he's able to make like an entirely new movie out of it or something?
I don't know. The last I'd heard, this is I think going to be almost a 3-hour movie or something. Yeah, so yeah,
can you
it sounds
that? Sitting through that for 3 hours.
No, I really can't. I watched that movie in theaters and it was watchable. Like there were parts of it that was like, but it was still just kind of like. It was a lot of that. It was definitely it's one of the better DC films. It's definitely that kind of a feeling. I can't imagine trying to sit through another hour of it. That sounds pretty torturous. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch either one probably.
Yeah. What y'all do?
I've been doing a lot of 14. Honestly, I was doing that before I came on here.
You've been playing that for like, I want to say 2 years now. Like regularly.
No, not 2 years. Oh god, no, only since the summer. It's just I've been doing it regularly, so it feels like it's been a long time. No, only since the summer. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 6 months, so it's a long time. But yeah, it was just one of my like quarantine things that I decided to try out. Because my wife got super back into it, and so then I did too. I mean, hey, I am paying for my subscription, so might as well, right? Make it its money worth.
Yep. And that's how they get you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like you pay money and then like, I gotta play it. If not, it's not gonna be worth my money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair, like if my brother, my wife stopped playing, I probably would just stop my subscription for a little bit. But you know, not happening anytime soon. But yeah, it been doing that mostly. I watched some things. I forgot to mention last episode, but I watched She-Ra. We watched all 5 seasons in like 3 days. It was a little ridiculous. I had time off, that's why. My wife and I were watching it. Really enjoyed it. I really liked it. The only thing, and I don't know if this is spoilers, but a certain person's redemption arc, I am very glad had a redemption arc, and I expected said redemption arc. I knew how it ended. But it's a little hard because I do feel like said character may have crossed the line a few times, that I'm not sure if that redemption arc was quite long enough.
Yeah, it was a bit rushed, for sure.
It was, yeah, that's my only thing. Like, I thought how they did the redemption arc was good, but it definitely was one of, like, because we knew it was going to happen, and so we're like, oh man, it's getting to be the next season.
Gave us the ending we wanted. So
yeah, exactly. And like it was good, like I liked it, but it was very cute, but it was one of those where it was like, all right, well, I mean, last season kind of crossed a few lines here. And it was, but in some parts were fine, but there were just a few lines that were like, I don't know if you can really come back from that. might take a little longer than that, but that's okay. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. Definitely good. Did not really feel like the pace was poor. Like I said, we watched it all the way through. I'm sure if I had to watch it season by season, I'd be pissed. But just watching it all the way through, it never really felt like it dragged. And I liked all the characters. That was also what was cool. Like everyone was enjoyable for me. So they're all different and they all look different and they were all good. So definitely recommend. And then just before I came on the podcast, I did watch the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really excited to see. It is pretty much what you are seeing. It is kind of a weird spoofy, like, sitcom, honeymooners looking like show, but there's mystery in it. Like, there's something wrong. And it's really cool how they do the different cuts of it. But I'm enjoying myself so far for both of those aspects. For both of the, I want to know what's going on, but also the, this makes a hilarious sitcom. Because if you like are okay with like the sitcom, like tropes and stuff like that, it totally satirizes it, and it's pretty well done. So I enjoy it.
But there's probably going to be something weird that's going to happen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not like meant to just be that. There's definitely something going on, and they hint that right at episode 1. Episode 2 kind of ends in I'm not gonna say a cliffhanger, but very much a huh. I don't know how quickly they're gonna get into the action on what's really going on. I have no idea. But we'll see. I don't know how many episodes it's supposed to be. That would otherwise tell me, but anyway, I'm curious to see it. It's also just kind of nice to see both those characters, like, actually act, because I feel like they didn't really get a lot of screen time.
They're not front and center enough. I like both those actors a lot.
Yes, and they do
looking at both those actors a lot.
You're telling me. They look so good together. No, it's really cool to see them act together, because you see more of a full range, and it's comedic but also interesting. I'm really enjoying it. I've only seen 2 episodes, so we'll see, but I'm very much enjoying it so far.
I never read it, but I know one of the most recent, maybe not literally the most recent, but one of the most recent Vision comic series was more or less the same premise, and it got very, very good reviews as a comic, so I'm optimistic about this too.
Yeah. So far, it's good. It's definitely different. That's what I like about it. It's not... Because Marvel, I love Marvel, but they can get pretty samey, over totally. Time. So, this is a cool departure away from that. It's unique, I would say.
I was looking forward to the Black Widow movie. It looks like it maybe is closer to more to the Thor 3 kind of level.
So that's still happening?
As far as I know, yes. It's just been delayed.
Mm. Yeah. They didn't release it. They're waiting for, a viable release platform to get the recoup the money they want.
Yeah, I think they really want to release it like fully in theaters, but
so they're not looking to do it just Disney Plus kind of thing.
As far as we know, we're not.
As far as we know, I haven't really heard anything, to be honest with you. I just know it's still like it's there.
I think the fact that Wonder Woman got more day 1 views than Soul will maybe give them some confidence that releasing these movies online does get good audiences.
Yeah.
COVID's been going on long enough that the audiences know where to watch the things they want now.
Yeah, for sure. They figure it out. They do what we do, which is like sign up for that day and then cancel. So.
Yeah. I guess my turn. I watched Soul. It was okay. I liked it. It's nothing. I have very little bad to say about it, other than that it's another Pixar film. It's pretty boilerplate template. What you know is what you get kind of stuff. But it's good. It's fine. I watched a slightly older film that I liked much, much more called Palm Springs. It's Andy Samberg does Groundhog's Day kind of movie. But it does a really good job at not being similar to Groundhog's Day, other than the main conceit of the 2 main characters trapped in the same day forever, until they get out. Spoiler alert, I guess. Happy ending, whatever. But it's very good. It's very funny. It's good. J.K. Simmons is in it, which I always like to see. So I recommend Palm Springs. I started watching. There's a show. When did this show get made? It's an older show, probably from the early 90s, late 80s, that I like a lot, called All Creatures Great and Small, which is a show based off of the true story of a veterinarian in England in like the 50s. And that show got rebooted and started airing this week. So it's also called All Creatures Great and Small. And the reboot's very good as well. So you can start with the reboot if you want. It's quite good. I recommend it if you like kind of wholesome drama, I guess. I don't know. What else I do? I played WoW. I played Division 2. I played No Man's Sky. and it was okay. It crashed a lot.
Did it crash still? Jeez, all right.
It crashed a lot. It crashed like 4
wow.
or 5 times in probably less than 3 hours.
Jeez.
I don't know if it's because the base building's just bad. I don't know if... so the planet I'm on has these really cool aliens that look like tires with like these big like feathers sticking out of them. And so maybe just them rolling around and clipping through my base was crashing things. I don't know, but it crashed a lot. So that sucked. But other than the crashing, it was good. I'm going to play more tomorrow, so I'll have a better opinion, or a stronger, more fleshed out opinion tomorrow. But I think that's it for playing, and pretty much it for watching. And I think there's something else I watched. I watched Willow again for like the billionth time, because I went on a podcast earlier this week called Shut Up, I Love It, where the guests defend a thing they love that everyone else hates. And so I defended the movie Willow because I like the movie Willow a lot. So that was fun.
I thought Willow is pretty well loved, no?
It has a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
So it's not as hated as most of the things on that podcast, but it is, nobody's seen it. Like almost everybody I talk to at best they've heard of it, but they haven't seen it. Most people I talk to have never seen it. Actually, this is one thing I get into. Like every time every house since college, including college that I've lived in, at one point in time, I'm like, okay, movie night, we're all watching Willow. And at no point have any of these people liked it. I'm like the only person who's liked it that I've personally seen. And I don't know if it's a fantasy thing or what. That just makes it hard to grasp on. Because I'm not saying Willow's the best movie ever. Like, it's not as good as Lord of the Rings. It's not as good as The Princess Bride. But it's a very solid, good movie. Like, it's fun.
I watched it. I liked it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I don't know. I think it's good. There is a Willow TV show slated for 2022. So we'll see if that happens. Same director,
Disney?
Ron Howard's going to direct this show.
Right.
Because Lucas was like the main producer, so it might be under Disney. I know they got Warwick Davis back. I don't think they got Val Kilmer back, which is kind of fine. Because even though I love Val Kilmer and I love his character, being present-day Val Kilmer is a little sad sometimes. Just because of all the work he's had done on his head. But yeah, I think that's it for me. I feel like there's definitely something I'm forgetting, but that's about it. Mostly Division and watching stuff. I'll remember stuff later.
Yeah.
What did you do, Char? I guess no, you spent 3 hours transforming stuff.
Yeah.
Did you watch anything though?
I feel like I did. Oh, I'm watching. I'm rewatching Xena now. Xena, the Warrior Princess.
Oh, you mentioned Xena.
That. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like
always loved it as a kid. To be fair, I loved both Xena Hercules duo thing as a kid.
Right.
But I'm just becoming more aware of how much better Xena is. And I forgot how funny the show is too.
And Red Sonja.
I've never watched Red Sonja. I know of it. It was showing when I was a kid.
It's like yeah, Red Sonja is, or Xena is to Hercules what Red Sonja is to Conan.
And one of so I've been wanting to rewatch Xena for quite a while, but I decided to really do it because of all the drama that was happening on Twitter.
Yes.
yeah.
I was just seeing Lucy Lawless, putting down Kevin Sorbo. I'm like, I really need to rewatch Xena.
I feel like, unfortunately, I think Xena was just I'm a little young. It was a little past my time. Like, I knew of Xena, but I'm not sure if I actually, watched the show, if that makes sense. I know I've seen parts of it in episodes. I feel like I should, because I know it'd be up my alley. My favorite...
Fighting scenes are horrible.
Yes.
The humor is great. It's just a really great show.
Yeah. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Campy?
Like the first season of Star Trek or
exactly.
And it's just I don't know, it's just
it's just fun.
It's this fantasy, Hercules and Xena is there are actual gods in the shows and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's fantasy, but they do not take themselves seriously at all. It is opposite of whatever you think Lord of the Rings
Self-aware
is.
Things are so
completely
good.
Opposite.
Yes.
I don't know what the antonym of high fantasy is, but it's not that. It's not high fantasy.
Low fantasy is a thing. Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah,
Lo-fi fantasy,
Lo-fi fantasy. That's even better. I like that one.
Fantasy punk. something.
Fantasy punk. I mean, kinda. I think that's a. I mean,
There's
it's
this. There's like this. There's like this
Xena's
scene where So Xena and her psychic is Gabrielle. There's like this scene. I'm not spoiling anything or whatever, but the scene like Xena wanted Gabrielle to say something, and she just did like that's such a funny thing. Like to me, like she's like this crazy powerful warrior. She's doing this like really funny things. It's just amazing. Lucy Lawless is amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't. But Spartacus, I don't think it's my kind. That one's a bit serious. So Lucy Lawless played like a really big role in Spartacus.
My favorite is people are trying to chant for her to replace that one character in Mandalorian, because I don't know if you know anything, but that actress who plays the. Did you guys watch Mandalorian? I can't even remember.
I finished it.
Mandalorian. I knew fans were producers were asking to remove her, but I didn't know why.
She has I forget her name, but
strong sheriff
lady. Cara Dune.
Why?
Cara Dune.
She's the MMA fighter. I like her.
Yes.
She's from Deadpool 1, right?
Yes. Who am I thinking of? Am I the wrong person?
You're saying the sheriff character, the big gal with the muscles.
Yeah. She's a bit like alt-righty.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she's in MMA. That can go either way real hard.
She
too many kicks to the head. Too many kicks to the head.
Yeah, she's reposted. She also like supported Parler and shit like that. Like, yeah.
Do people become alt-right after getting kicked to the head, or because they want to kick people in the head? So like, which
that's
one?
Actually a good psychological question.
Chicken or egg? Which one came first? Kicking people in the head or getting kicked in the head?
Hey, I like the way you think.
Shit. I liked her. I liked her in Deadpool 1. I liked her in Son of
I know. I try to, like, because I love the character, but yeah, I try to, like, separate the actress from the character. But yeah, she's posted some really problematic stuff on Twitter, and has said she's on Parler, and, yeah.
I thought Parler is being,
It is. Oh, yeah. But this was, like, before that happened. Yeah. She also had some anti-vax stuff at one point.
Oh my gosh, she's going all in.
Yeah. It was like, and I had to I didn't do like extensive research, but like the tweets are hers. So it's too bad, that's for sure. I know, because I really liked her too.
Gina Carano is the actress.
Yes.
That's another thing I watched. It reminded me. Seeing Mandalorian, because I was just on a kick after watching Wonder Woman. I was like, I want to see more of this guy. So I watched a movie he did from like a couple years ago called Prospector, where he's like a spaceman on a planet that like it's basically like the movie feels like a Western, because it's just like it's kind of lawless, anything can kill you. There's like people with gun, might makes right kind of thing. And so he's just like a miner where you have to like go out to like these things and like cut open like these sacks and like put some acid on them so they dissolve, and like open these cysts to get these diamonds out. If you do it wrong, like they just dissolve the diamonds. And I don't know, it's hard to describe the plot, but it's a good sci-fi movie. I think it's on Netflix. Prospectors, starring
more than one.
The Mando.
Very cool.
Are you looking it up, Char?
No, I'm on Gina Carano's Twitter account.
Oh no!
I have this magnetism, like, towards like, you know.
Yeah, I hear ya. I was upset too. Same thing. I was like, no. Anyway, there's a lot of people trying to get Lucy into it into her role instead. So there's that at least. I'd love it to be false. I haven't actually totally double checked myself, but I just saw the screenshots. So.
Oh, never mind. It's real.
Okay.
She's talking about censorship and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Sad pandas.
So who did we? Oh, we wanted Lucy Lawless. Yeah, I'm totally up for Lucy Lawless playing anything.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, she could be Mando.
She's great.
That'd be cool.
There is gonna be a Mando season 3, right? That's what my friend told me.
There is as far as I am understanding correctly, and there's a Mando season 3, and there's gonna be a spin-off for Boba Fett.
The Boba Fett one.
Boba Fett. For Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
It's like the King of the Mercs or whatever.
Yeah.
King of the...
That one looks... I'm just liking this... bounty hunter or like non-lightsabery stuff that they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anytime we don't have Force users, I'm happy. I'll make an exception for Baby Yoda because he doesn't.
I mean, this was kind of what it was before Disney bought it, but not in TV show format. More like the video games and novels and stuff, right? They focus a lot on not to say focus a lot, but they did have stories about non-lightsaber users or non-Force users.
That's true. Although, like, one of my favorite video games, actually, it's probably the most similar to Mandalorian. I really like Jedi Academy 2 with Kyle.
Those old,
that's where the Dark Troopers and stuff.
Those old Star Wars games were great.
Yeah.
Talking about Star Wars games, so EA doesn't have exclusivity anymore. So news are coming out. Ubisoft is making Ubisoft, but specifically the Division developers are making a Star Wars game, open world.
Yeah,
I think story focused. I hope it's not like, multiplayer by premium credits. I'm sure there's some sort of microtransaction in there.
I'm sure there is. It's Ubisoft.
Division has
that.
Me? This will have it too. Yeah. I would say it's not intrusive in the Division though. So
Ubisoft seems to have learned their lessons, but we'll see.
But it's not just that, but because the Division 2 has some gated content when it comes to there's PvP, and not everybody is good enough to play PvP. Or there's there's certain, I think there are raids and stuff as well, because it's supposed to be like a MMO light.
I didn't know that.
So those kind of stuff, you gotta have a party and shit. Even the PvP is much better. You can actually go in as a party.
Oh yeah, of course with PvP, it makes sense.
So I'm just wondering if it's gonna be a fully single player game or if there's gonna be some multiplayer in it. But I wouldn't mind if it's just like a Division clone. So
sure. Do you? This is kind of a more broader topic. Do you find it's not impossible to immerse, but harder to immerse yourself in a multiplayer Star Wars game like Battlefront when you have a non-Force user going toe to toe with a Force user? Because I feel like that's rarely a fair match. Even in movies and shows when I see it, I'm like, this is crazy.
It's hard because so I enjoy Jedi stuff, and to be fair, I love KOTOR, but also I've played a lot of
best Star Wars game ever.
Yeah, for sure. But I've also played a lot of Star Wars tabletop, and so there's that.
And you played the Old Republic as well?
A little bit, yeah. I never really finished it, but I did play
I thought you finished
decent...
the mainline story at least.
No, I was playing it for a minute, but then I stopped. Mostly because I was only really playing it with for my brother, and then I kind of stopped. But it I could join it anytime because I still have my account and it's free, but I just don't think about it these days. But I also did a lot of Star Wars tabletop, and so I do enjoy it. I will say it's hard because in the movies, a Jedi should. A really decently trained Jedi can usually overcome any of those things. But I don't know. I've also played it in tabletop, and sometimes the Jedi isn't the one who wins. So things happen.
Yeah. It's
I think there's a disconnect. It feels like there's two worlds. There's the movie stuff, and then there's everything else.
Yeah. That's what's hard, I think. Because I think what's also hard is with the movies, there are elements of all three trilogies that I like. And then there are so many ways that they all disappoint me. Including the original trilogy, I mean, it was the first,
a really good point. Now that I think about it, my problem isn't always... I think, because in Star Wars, this is a specific example. Stormtroopers are, their combat effectiveness is close to zero in Star Wars.
Yes, yes. Laughably incompetent.
And historically, that hasn't been a problem for me as much because they're going up against Jedi. It's everything's going to have a combat effectiveness of 0 against a Jedi. And then in Mandalorian, we see, oh no, they're still completely useless against these regular people with guns. It's oh no! So, yeah, I guess maybe my problem isn't so much with the Jedi. It's just Star Wars having these weird, ubermensch,
weird power levels between the characters.
Yeah.
Inconsistent power levels, maybe. Or maybe just weird power levels.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the... And that is really weird to do. And honestly, one of the things that I did like about them kind of rebooting Star Wars and stuff like that is I didn't really pay too much attention to the comics and the books, but I know one, like, theme that really went through a lot of them was how many people were actually better than Darth Vader. There's just a lot of old comics where it was like, oh, who are you? I'm cool because I beat Darth Vader in a fight, but I didn't kill him. It's like, what?
Darth Vader he's a lot like the Wolverine or the Colossus of the group, or the Worf, where it's like, oh, this guy's got a really badass reputation. How do we show
the Worf
a threat? I know. We'll have him throw Wolverine through a wall or whatever. Like, that's how we know he's a badass.
Exactly.
What's the Worf?
But they don't.
War from
War from Star Trek. Okay.
Yeah, but what I like,
he always gets thrown through things.
But it's nice because I feel like in kind of some of these reboots, they really continue to make him a boogeyman. Like, I think of Rogue One, and actually, if you guys ever see Rebels, spoiler alert, they meet Darth Vader, and it's terrifying. It's a terrifying moment, and that's what it's supposed to be. So like that part, at least, I like that they try to stay consistent now. But it is. I mean, everyone's got to have their special Jedi character, and, you know, during the time where there were, like, no Jedi, so what are you going to do?
When I was a kid playing KOTOR, I was like, holy shit, all these Sith Lords are, like, way more powerful than Darth Vader. Because at that point, my experience with Star Wars is Darth Vader's up here, everybody else is just, like... and then I played KOTOR, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, all from the lore and stuff, too. Like, I would remember there was this, like, Sith Lord that was able to suck the life force out of people on like different planets or some shit. I can't remember exactly, but that sounds way more powerful than anything in the movies.
Yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to budget, I guess, right? Like, I'm sure Lucas had all these really cool ideas. Like, what powers can we do? It's like, nothing. It's like, okay, we'll have them hit each other with swords.
Well, it's like how they like never use any kind of a move object. I say move objects. That's literally what the power's called in the tabletop version. But like moving your objects around, psychic powers. You know, they literally don't do it like at all in the original trilogy because budgets. But they do it all the time in every other movie, right?
There's literally a Sith who gets cut in half. And he's like, fine, I'll fly everywhere. he has no legs. He just floats everywhere. It's like it's so OP. It's kind of it's crazy.
That's one of the nice things with the reboot, but I know a lot of people were butthurt about EU being just decimated there. I mean, it wasn't even
there's a lot of good they got rid of, but there's a lot of bad too, but
exactly.
The stuff we got in place is also bad, so I don't know.
We'll see. Star Wars. I don't even know how we got on Star Wars.
I forgot.
I guess.
Mando.
Oh, Ubisoft. Don't ruin it. Give us KOTOR. Open world KOTOR would be amazing.
Right. Or just I don't know.
Oh man, so I was looking at books to get rid of from my bookshelf. Sorry to prolong this topic, but I have all these Star Wars Force rule books. And I was like looking through the Force source book. I was like, man, there's so much, like, should I get rid of this? Like, I'm never going to play this game again, probably. And I was reading it. I'm like, there's so much cool stuff in here I always forget about. Like, there was an order of Force users separate from the Jedi called the Iron Knights. And they were like these completely sentient crystals. So they were beings, so they could use the Force. And this is pre-Metachlorians. So they just put these crystals in these robot bodies. So you basically had robot Jedi. It's like, this is amazing!
Yes. I have heard
Sounds
of this
amazing.
before.
More like that, please. I don't know. Force Unleashed is like right on that line of being like, this is so fan servicey, but still kind of cool. There's witches and they ride Rancors. Like, oh man.
I mean, they kind of bring the witches back, and that witch. I don't know if it's the same kind of witches, but Clone Wars. I mean, they bring back it's a type of Zabrak. I can't think of the Night Sisters. They're witches basically.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't want to spoil more because I was about to be like, this super important character's involved. And I was like, spoiler if you see it because you might actually like it.
Is it another Zabrak, the most famous Zabrak of all time?
It could be. Anyway.
I've got a very minor news story. Did you guys see the trailer for Willy's Wonderland? It's like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Yes, I only know it because I was like, why is FNAF trending with Nicolas Cage? And then I just saw part of the... Yes,
Nicolas
he's
Cage
the main
has
guy.
To go into a building full of animatronics and survive the night.
Yeah.
And stuff.
It's the trailer.
Very, very clearly Five Nights at Freddy's. but it's called Willy's Wonderland.
I know. I'm a little confused. Well, Scott Cawthon's never really been one to get picky over his IP anyway, so he's got enough money.
I don't know the backstory, but like it's so similar, and then they didn't use the name. It's like, did they get the rights, but then didn't want to use the name because Five Nights at Freddy's is so like associated with like middle schoolers and younger? Like, I don't know if they're trying to avoid the association.
Well, because he was supposedly supposed to make a movie. But
I mean, would you use?
I feel like you'd want to capitalize on it though.
Wouldn't it more? If you use the name, you'll probably get more eyeballs on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It
looks
is
like
strange.
a pretty legit horror movie, so maybe it's going for a older audience. I don't know.
It might be, yeah. FNAF, even though FNAF the game, I wouldn't necessarily say is kid-friendly, there's a lot of kids that like it. Most kids that I know, it's not even that they play it, they just like to watch YouTubers play it, all the Let's Plays and stuff, yeah. I always have to, like, kind of calm parents down because they get, like, really antsy about it. I'm like, okay, technically, yes, there is implied violence and definitely a lot of implied child violence, but, it's not technically bloody. Because, and it's just because, kids are, like, super into it, and they're like, what the heck is this? But, I mean, the thing is, though, like, I never was into horror movies when I was younger, but I knew kids who were like, I watched Chucky, and were super into it. Like, I love Freddy Krueger, and they were, way too young for those films, so
they were the weird kids, though. Like,
yeah, it's true. Or at the very least, they were the kids who were like, if they did that, like, you tell your mom about it, and she's like, yeah, well, those parents allow some things that I wouldn't allow, kind of a conversation, so I don't know. Everything comes in full circle. But yes, I only saw part of the trailer, and I was just like, oh, wow, this looks... They're trying to make this legit. Okay, Nicolas Cage. you cash that check in.
He's still getting roles.
I'm tempted to watch it. I like Nicolas Cage. He's very entertaining as an actor.
Yeah, hey, he does it. I got nothing against the guy.
Croods 2. Here's a hot take. I enjoyed the Croods 2 more than Soul. Not saying it's a better movie, but I liked it a lot more. I had a lot more fun with it. Oh my
goodness, that is quite the hot take. I never saw Cruise 1.
Oh man, it's so good. Like, Nicolas Cage is a caveman. It's the best casting I've ever heard. Like, his voice is just so like, oh, fire, whoa, hey, bananas, go long. I'm throwing you a baby monkey. I don't know. Like,
oh my gosh.
Emma Stone and Ryan Reynolds are in it. It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm. It's got big names in it. That's fine.
You guys want to do news?
Yeah, might as
well.
We
already started with news. We did Ubisoft, we did movie.
More news.
More news.
Yeah, more news. Keep it rolling.
News. Anybody here have heard of GameXplain, the YouTube channel?
No. So they explain games?
They explain games. They do a lot of videos. Like guide videos, review videos, those kind of stuff. And they get, not everybody's in-house. There are contributors and stuff. And a bunch of, not a bunch, like a few of them, I think like one guy at least that worked for GameXplain for a while, now has his own podcast. And he talked about specifically Final Fantasy VII Remake, when he was doing the review for GameXplain, the YouTube channel, on his own podcast. And a bunch of stuff just came out that GameXplain overworks and underpay people.
Oh.
Yeah. So for Final Fantasy VII Remake, he got the game, I forgot what the date was, but he got the game 2 days before the review has to go up. So he did not sleep for 2 days. It was insane. He played it. He just powered through it, wrote the script, got the script back after a bunch of edits because you write shit when you have no sleep.
That's not how you get good writing. That's how you get.
And then he still had to record a video, which is and he got like $500 out of it or something.
Oh my gosh.
That's not
It speaks to a bigger issue with game reviewers, because that is a problem with a lot of game reviewers, is that they have that crunch time, basically. That's why there's been a big push of, like, give us the games ahead of time, but game developers don't want that for obvious reasons. So.
With Square, they have, like, I think different tiers of content creators or content publishers. So, like, Vice Vice wrote the article on this GameXplain thing, the one I'm looking at. So they got Final Fantasy 7 remake a week before embargo. GameXplain got it 2 days before. So yeah, this is insane.
Sad.
Their new show is called. Let me see if I can find it. It's not a GameXplain show, but it's
It's called "You Can Sleep When You're Dead."
Good Vibes Gaming. That's the name of the. So three of them.
Vibes Gaming. Jeez.
Three of them worked at GameXplain. They fucked off to do their own YouTube channel and all that. It's a podcast, and I'm not sure if they do other things or not. But yeah. So they don't have to crunch like that. It's insane. I can't. I've never done like a 2 night no sleep thing before, so I just can't imagine it.
I can't even stay up.
I haven't done it that far.
Yeah, I can't stay up.
No, I can't even. I used to be able to do pull all nighters, but I can't even do that these days. I just get so drained so easily.
Yeah. So he was like talking about how he just broke down into tears at his desk. How he sat in the shower with the water just running for a while, just to stay awake.
Yeah, I mean that amount of stress, your body just can't take it. You go pretty crazy when you start to not sleep. I take sleep very seriously. Your body just starts to break down. It can't handle it, and that's why the good thing is your body's supposed to just kind of shut down. And that's the safe thing it does, because otherwise you die. You can die from lack of sleep if you're not careful.
It takes off years of your life.
Yeah.
Just from not having enough sleep. And if I remember correctly, he rushed those 2 days, right? But because of weird copyright thingies on YouTube, the video was flagged and brought down, and it only went up again in a couple of days after. So he had extra days.
Oh my gosh, this poor guy.
Yeah, so Square's like auto thing with YouTube flagged the video incorrectly, and like Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
It's awful. That sucks.
So yeah, that's the thing, I guess. Next one is not that great as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I guess it's never newsworthy if it's a good thing, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, sure.
So this is about Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt, the co-founder, Marcin something. I'm not gonna butcher his name. It's Polish name.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
The one that when you talk about founders of CD Projekt, he's the one that you always see. So.
Okay. Yeah.
He made like there was like a 5-minute video that he made, or like the PR team asked him to make or whatever, talking about explaining things from their point of view and like giving a roadmap. A roadmap. So the roadmap is very basic. It just shows like giant patch here, a bunch of things here with no actual proper dates and stuff because they learned the lesson, I guess. But also he was talking about blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, leadership and management is the one that needs to take responsibility for this. But there was one thing in the video that he said that was, I'm sure, 100% untrue. A lot of these issues were did not show up during testing. So he kind of threw his QA team and whoever worked for QA on the game under the bus. And knowing gamers,
more likely told QA not to report this sort of issues so we wouldn't know about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or QA reported them and they didn't have the time to finish the fixes.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand projects, you got to prioritize certain things, and it's after that you push it up, and then you got to do it after. But like you just kind of threw your QA team under the bus, man. So
it just shows that like the people in charge of setting deadlines in a lot of these game companies just don't know what they're talking about. they really they just kind of set this date, and it's just not realistic.
And if I remember reading an article on this. I can't remember where but I remember like a few bits of the article. They were talking about pre-development, pre-production of Cyberpunk. So they announced this game in like 2013 with the first launch trailer. Shit didn't start until like 5-6 years after.
Yeah.
And everybody who worked on the game in like 2018 knew the crunch was coming because shit wasn't getting done.
Yeah, I think I read about that too, that like it was announced and all the workers were like, okay, when are we starting? Tell us when we're starting. And there was nothing that was starting them.
I understand that they were working on The Witcher 3 a lot as well at the time. I think The Witcher 3 came out in 2015, right? And a couple of big DLCs came out 1-2 years after. I get that, but what you could have done is put aside a small team or hire more people with all the money you made. Jesus, what the fuck was that?
It won't be on the recording. I muted it for the recording, so you won't hear it.
They could have, put out a small team to start pre-production, pre-development, whatever that you need. I've never made games. I only know a little bit on like software or hire more people. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I don't.
They fucked up.
I mean, there's just no other way to say it. Like they did, because I remember I read that too, and I was just like, what? Why would you? I don't know. Like I said, I kind of not surprised about this because I mean, right now, game companies are pretty much still owned, except for like your small indie stuff, but like the big, large companies are pretty much still owned by people who didn't necessarily grow up being like, okay, I'm going to be making a games production company. A lot of them are still just run by old fogey people that are like, yeah, I'm running a business, and I'm not trying to get all like, you have to be a gamer to run a gaming business, but they just don't have any idea. Yeah, they just never seem to have any idea what they're doing.
If I'm not mistaken, the statement that he made about testing not showing all these things is specifically about how the game runs so badly on old gen consoles. And that is a straight up lie because you can just pop the game in and within 5 minutes you will see all the issues. So
yeah, what?
unless testing on old gen consoles just means that they popped it in 5 seconds, they walked around, okay, everything's fine. So like
the disc fits in the console, it's compatible.
Or maybe they didn't even bother to test. They told the QA team, don't even bother testing it on old gen consoles. So you can see very clearly a lot of like people who either work in the games industry, either dev side, publisher side, or journalism, are talking about how they are throwing the QA team under the bus, but the gamers are just talking about not that. So like they're just talking about how like they're being fair and transparent.
Yeah, I don't know about
you can just very clearly see the divide.
Yeah, for sure. It's too bad. It's very sad. It's a sad story. The game production itself.
Yeah, it's one of the most disappointed I've ever felt for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just a video game, but like, it's
Yeah, I actually ended up returning it without even picking it up again because I was actually past my 2 weeks for Steam, and I was like, shit! And so I tried to return it. They even gave me the warning. They're like, this game may not return, but they returned it very quickly. So I think Steam is just not even like, they're just checking how many hours I played at this point, and I also had to be careful. I was very close to the 2 hours because I was doing a character creation scene. So I spent some time trying to make it look the way I wanted it to look. So I probably wasn't going to be able to, if I didn't do it then, I just wasn't going to be able to get the refund. So
yeah, I mean, the character creation, there's only 3 dick sizes, so like it's not that many options there.
I wish I had taken a picture. I actually had gotten mine to look like me pretty
cool.
well. Like
nice.
I did. I really did. I kind of got the eyes and the jaw shape and stuff. I forgot to take a picture of it, but I really should have.
I do not have the patience at all to do the whole slider things with the shape and everything. I never played those kind of things.
Normally I wouldn't, but I will say I have to give Cyberpunk this. They had a lot of pretty decent variety on all that stuff, and so I was able to get pretty close. Because normally, no, I don't care. And it was also, like, realistic enough looking that I was like, let's give this a try. Like, if I was playing, like, Skyrim, no, I don't bother. I just go whatever looks good. But for something like this, I was like, taking, like, profile pictures of myself and, you know. I'm too fat for what they were looking for, but I made at least work a little bit. And too short, I should say. That's okay.
I don't have any more news.
I have a very minor one. I don't think we talked about this on the podcast, but old news is Oscar Isaac was cast as Marvel's Moon Knight. But the new news, which is very minor, is they cast his villain, which is going to be Ethan Hawke. So I'm actually excited to see Moon Knight a little more. I mean, I was already excited because I like Oscar Isaac a lot, but...
Yeah.
So, who's Moon Knight's villain? I don't know anything about a character.
They have picked the villain named Bushman, which I don't know if that's PC to say anymore, but he's a fellow mercenary who turned traitor on Moon Knight when Egyptian gold became the thing they were fighting over.
Why is Bushman not a...
I mean, it's a native of Africa, right? It's called a Bushman. I don't know. It'd be like having a villain named Indian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah. What?
I'd never heard of Bushman. I don't know what the...
There's a good movie you might like. It's called The Gods Must Be Crazy. It's a fun movie about this airplane pilot who throws like a Coke bottle out of a window, and it falls, and a Bushman finds it. And he's like, it's glass. He's like, whoa, what is it? Like, it's hard. And like, it causes all this conflict in his tribe. So he goes to return it to the gods. He's like, I gotta walk to the end of the earth. And like, it's just like the crazy stuff he encounters along the way. It's a fun movie. We don't, for Moon Knight specifically, we don't know. I'm reading this article right now. I don't know a ton about Moon Knight, but apparently, like most heroes, they've gone through a lot of reworks. And so we don't know which sort of Moon Knight this movie is going to be. Like, is it going to be Moon Knight who struggles with multiple personality disorder? Is it going to be, like, ex-mercenary crime-fighting Moon Knight? Is it going to be, like, the dapper consultant? We'll see. I don't know. It could just basically... I just want more Punisher Batman crap. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I just want a new Punisher game. There was a Punisher video game on the PS2. And it was great. You get to torture people. I know. I was fucked up as a kid.
Is it possible to make a Punisher game in today's age that's not political?
I don't think so. I'll be curious to see.
I would love to play a Punisher game where you get to kill a bunch of corrupt cops. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Just to hammer in the message that Punisher hates cops.
Cops are bad guys.
Like
they just don't get it.
Don't do it. If you did good, I wouldn't have to do this.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm dry.
I have one other. It's a small thing. It's more of a yikes kind of thing. So
what is it?
We don't really know this for sure. Hypebeast is the one I first saw who reported this, so I don't even know if it's true. But it's getting people in a tizzy fit, and that makes me laugh. GTA 6 reportedly, may have the franchise's very first female protagonist.
Interesting.
Which is cool. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, it's kind of a long time coming, but yeah, cool. And already, some men are being very butthurt about it. I had hoped it would. There was someone who just retweeted a bunch of screenshots of people's tweets, and unfortunately, even like on that tweet itself, there were a bunch of actually men on there as well. And it was just it's just the same crap over and over again. I can't, I have nothing against having women in games, but I just can't, it just doesn't make sense to me to have a woman be shooting and beating up people like that. I'm just like, what?
The part I have no stomach for isn't people being that stupid. It's just how I can't. I so can't relate to that. I can't even read people who are trying to phrase it in that way where they're being so reasonable. It's like you're being so unreasonable. I just can't comprehend how you think that's I'm being fair. I mean, women are great, but they can't shoot guns. Look at their fingers. It's like what?
Yeah, it's wild. It's like anytime you have a fantasy genre and all of a sudden there's black people in it and people are like, but more realism. You're like. There's dragons in here. Get off racism, lordy.
If putting black people into fantasy genre makes J.R.R. Tolkien roll in his grave, I wish we would do more of that.
And having
racist.
He was a bit anti-Semitic.
Not really a racist.
Anti-Semitic for sure.
He was a little anti-Semitic. That was the main problem. Like,
I mean, he wasn't like
depiction of dwarves.
The thing is, in his books, it's very clear. Like, okay, so that's the whole like what the artist's message is and how people interpret, right?
Yes.
His books the interpretation of his books can be in a white supremacy, Christians are superior kind of way. I feel. So it may not reflect him as a person or a character, but it doesn't mean his work is not problematic.
Yeah, it's got some the main things that people have kind of pointed at, and I haven't really read the books myself, so I can't really speak personally. But like, you know, the way he kind of depicted dwarves, and the way he even talked about dwarves like in interviews was pretty anti-Semitic.
And like
he kind of
dwarves were the best.
And I mean, like,
I know.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the orcs were like modeled after.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that people have been kind of... That one I don't have as much like the dwarves anti-Semitic thing, like, there's a clip from an interview where you can see that, where he basically is like,
JR talking about it.
Yeah, JR Tolkien being like, yeah, don't the dwarves remind you of Jewish people? Which is just like...
Does he
with
say
orcs,
like it's a joke too? Like, isn't it how delightful they're Jewish?
I don't know, to be honest.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I've only seen it written. I don't know. I've only seen like the written part of it. The orc situation, I can't really say enough. I can't really say much about. People have mentioned it, but I don't know. But it could be. I mean, it is definitely problematic, and it's led to a lot of issues people are talking about with Dungeons and Dragons, which was basically taking J.R. Tolkien's world and making tabletop. That's what it was. And, you know, a lot of conversation about how, you know, the way the original D&D was kind of written could be white supremacist in some ways. They're trying to change some of that, but it's slow
anytime
process.
You have, like, I already have minor problems, you know, with, like, the alignment chart, but anytime, like, certainly this isn't a problem as much with current D&D, but older D&D was a little more strict generally about, like, this race has to be this alignment. Like,
yes, that's a huge thing people point out, too. Oh, yeah. No, it was a huge thing.
So like, what do you mean, like, elves are what?
So, like, elves would only be, you know, lawful good to neutral good, and orcs could only be lawful evil to chaotic evil, you know, that kind of stuff.
Could only be evil, chaotic.
Yeah, exactly. Now, like you said, modernly, they're trying to get rid of that and trying to make a lot of those monster races into playable races. So, they're trying, but there's still some stuff that people... The main thing I'm reading that...
People do see, like, when they look at Lord of the Rings and see the orcs, that is very clearly... looking like black people, like tribal people and shit, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been the discussion.
All the extras were hired from New Zealand, right?
And also all the heroes are white. I'm just saying. I'm just like.
Yeah. No,
I'm just like. And I'm wondering like if people do actually catch this.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of.
Which is funny because before we record this podcast, I saw on Twitter like how people. There was a specific thread about how amazing Lord of the Rings is compared to like other, specifically the films compared to like other fantasy films, and just like I wonder if people actually will like it this much if it featured non-white people in any role that's not one of the bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a problem. And I think it also... I never read the book, so I don't even know if skin color was described explicitly in the books. Usually the problem with fantasy stories is they're usually written by white people. And so usually there may not be a description of skin color, but it's assumed to be white. And so I couldn't tell you, but I would not be surprised. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is to be... But
Hermione's black. Hermione's black.
And J.K. Rowling is like, she could be. I never said. I'm just like, J.K.
Exactly.
Rowling, stop.
I never said Cho Chang was Chinese.
Yeah,
she's from the North Pole. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, and there's something to be said that for sure with the casting, it was like, well, you know, they must be white, right? Yeah. So,
and also it just miffs me a bit about like the way. What's the name again? JK. how she was coming up with all this like
JKJR.
Yeah. So like it feels like what she's trying to do is all these non-white, non-cis people are not good enough to have their own character. Like she's just gonna take already established characters and change them, or like, you know, it's just a bit problematic for me.
No, it is. I think she, and I'm not trying to excuse what she's doing, by the way, but it really felt like is she did the whole Dumbledore reveal, which I do believe she intended from the beginning, because there were hints that he was actually gay, but it just wasn't explicitly stated. And I feel like she was so proud of herself that that was a thing she didn't have to like explicitly state, but then there were hints about it, so then she could reveal it. And then she just started, you know, doing that with other things she definitely didn't write. It's just
do you
like,
think maybe she put hints at Dumbledore's being gay because she wasn't confident about it being received well, and so she wanted to sound out if people liked it or not, and then if they did like it, she's like, ah.
I could believe that because of the time the books were written, it was still kind of, you know, not super like well received, because she definitely like announced it and confirmed it during a time when it was starting to be a bit more accepted. Like it was a few years later, I feel like, but I might be wrong. I don't really remember the timing. I just remember being like, oh, okay. And then, you know, people being all, it just caused controversy, of course. And sometimes when you're that popular, bad news isn't necessarily, you know, still news about you. So, but yeah, I could see that for sure.
I like a meme I saw recently where it's like, how did Dumbledore go from, like Colin Firth, not Colin Firth, who played young Dumbledore?
Oh my gosh.
Also with a C name, right? Anyway,
how did
Colin Farrell?
Law, right?
Jude Law. It was Jude Law. You're right.
Jude Law.
Oh, Jude Law.
Jude Law. It's Jude Law. How did it go from wearing super dapper suits to just like pajamas?
I know.
in like 12 years, he just like, you know what? My fashion's completely changing. From hot businessman to senile old person.
It's only 12 years. He looks like he aged 100.
Something like that. I don't remember. Well, similarly like Star Wars, if you look at like young Ewan McGregor to Sir Alec Guinness, it's like, this is what 19 years on Tatooine does to a man. It ages you like 30 years, apparently.
I know, apparently. Speaking of which, I'm excited for that Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series that's coming out, too. Yeah. Excited for
a lot to be excited for.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping Rogue Squadron's good, too.
Yes, me too. Well, it's by Patty Jenkins, so I'm hoping
that's
it's good, too.
That's going to be hard to do. Just because, like, I feel like the thing I like most about Star Wars is spaceship fights. And those are probably the most expensive parts of a Star Wars to make. And so how does a show have a budget to do good spaceship fights every episode or something? I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully the characters are interesting enough so they don't have to do one every episode.
That's probably true.
But yeah, I don't really make
space Top Gun.
Space Top Gun. I like it. Maybe maybe. But yeah, I just wanted to share all the boys being mad. There's a lot of mad gamer boys.
You guys want to wrap up or?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, that's fine. I'm Sarahscopic. Sorry. Sorry, I think I went too early. I'm Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. I am mostly on Twitter. I actually tweet stuff from time to time, and I got a new puppy, so sometimes
it feels like you're tweeting more a bit. I just feel like
a little bit. It's just because like I kind of did not do any social media at all, and now I'm trying to like be a little more engaging because I've been kind of December I pretty much hibernated, so I'm trying to be a little better. So yeah, you can say hi to me, and if you look far enough back, you can see all the Snyder fanboys get mad at me. So that's cool.
And I'm Foehamner, Foehamner. I'm on YouTube. That's it.
Pupunoob, PUPNOB, you know where. This has been episode 180 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching, listening. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.